Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Eid Mubarak, everybody. Welcome to the English news program on Somaliland National Television. Coming up, the most of the stories making headlines. The President of Somaliland congratulates public for Eid al-Adha. Vice Minister of Information, Culture and National Guidance organizes a dinner event for journalist graduates. Turkish MPs back operations in Syria and Iraq. The President of Somaliland, His Excellency Ahmed Mohamed Mahamoud Silanyo, conveyed a congratulatory message to all Muslims and Somalilanders for the holy Eid al-Adha.
The President of Somaliland, His Excellency Ahmed Mohamed Mahamoud Silanyo, conveyed congratulatory message to the MPs in the House of Parliament, House of Elders, cultural leaders, religion leaders, opposition parties, the public of Somaliland and the Muslim nation worldwide. In a press release issued by the President's spokesperson Ahmed Suleiman Duhul, the President prayed that we all joyfully celebrate the Eid al-Adha this year and the following years. The President also wished those who are ill sudden recovery.
The Vice Minister of Information, Culture and National Guidance, Mr. Abdulwahid Abdul Qadir, along with politician Geltre, organizes dinner event for the graduated journalists.
The Vice Minister of Information, Culture and National Guidance, Mr. Abdulwahid Abdul Qadir, along with politician Abdullahi Geltre, organized dinner event to congratulate the journalist graduates that work in the public and private media houses. The Minister Abdulwahid Abdul Qadir encouraged them to take their education further in the coming years. In addition, politician Geltre, who formerly held the minister position of the same ministry, similarly congratulated journalist graduates.
Hargeisa local market experiences huge traffic as people are preparing themselves for Eid al-Adha. Residents of Hargeisa, the capital city of Somaliland, began the preparation for the upcoming of Eid al-Adha. Eid shoppers are flocking to the city's markets as they started buying garments, shoes, sweets and other goods. Merchants started to decorate their shops with illuminating light and other colorful decors in order to attract excited shoppers ready to shop. Somaliland National Television has reported how residents in the capital are shopping in order to prepare themselves for the next day of Eid al-Adha. SLN is bringing forward pictures of Hargeisa city shopping areas and some of the hottest items that consumers are looking to buy. Eid al-Adha marks one of the two biggest festivals for Muslim community. On Eid day, Muslims gather with friends and families after Eid prayer, at which time they feast and exchange gifts. The shopping centers in Hargeisa, capital city of Somaliland, are seeing booming businesses in the last days as residents begin preparation of Eid al-Adha shopping spree. With the dollar soaring and merchants hiking their goods as demand goes up, residents are still shopping with smile as they buy all sorts of goods, garments, shoes and other items. One such shop that's taking advantage, offering the shoppers a discounted price named by Arwa Iro in Wahin Market, the mid of the capital. According to the businessman working in the shop, whom Somaliland National Television had the pleasure of visiting his supermarket, business is doing well as parents and professionals in the area are buying his products. The businessman goes to say that his prices are unbeatable comparing to the rest, and overall buying and selling situation is great and calm, answering to a question asked by SLN. Another businessman stated that everything in the market is an excellent, peaceful and calm, where people are buying in the best behavior. On the other hand, shoppers buying products from the shops and supermarkets have expressed their views regarding this Eid al-Adha preparation. when female buyer present at Gobonimo Market in Hargeisa, expressing her views, stated that she is excited for the overwhelming situation of the market and said that also products being sold are cheaper and affordable. Eid al-Adha is the later of the two Eids that Muslims celebrate each year, and it's known as the bigger Eid. SLN TV is dedicated to bring ahead pictures of Hargeisa shopping centers, some of the hottest items that shoppers are buying this holiday of Eid. Salama School's administration hosted a farewell ceremony aimed to see if students graduated from the school. The event had an attendance by enormous number of esteemed participants, including governmental officials, parliamentarians, members from the political parties, and cultural leaders. Saeed Adam Hussein, the principal of Salama Schools, has provided initially the opening remarks and stated that they will give high priority to this year's graduates from the school as they scored excellent marks for this year's leaving exam conducted throughout the country. Mr. Saeed, speaking at the podium, stated, "This ceremonial farewell for Salama students aimed to farewell the students and share with them the pleasure of their graduation and excelling higher marks for the exams," and goes on congratulating the students for accomplishing their goal. Present on the occasion, the first Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Abdurrahman, congratulated for their earnest efforts in going through their training and likewise hailed their tutors, parents and administration while praising the tremendous efforts and development in attaining this. Chairman of the ruling party, Musa Bihi Abdi, speaking to the participants, has informed the students with the risk involved migration and urged them to continue their efforts. Other distinguished participants, including the former Vice President of Somaliland, Abdurrahman Ali Farah, President of Hargeisa University, parliamentarians, cultural leaders spoke on the occasion and urged the students to be vigilant for the risk involved, the migration, and strengthen their efforts in exerting the contribution of the country's way forward. You're still watching Somaliland National Television English News Program, and now for our international headlines in detail. Turkish MPs back operations in Syria and Iraq. Parliament approves a motion authorizing cross-border military incursions against the ISIL and other armed threats.
Turkish parliament has authorized the government to carry out cross-border military operations in Iraq and Syria to fight the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant and other armed groups. Yesterday's vote also allows foreign soldiers to be stationed in Turkey and to use its military bases for the same purposes with no limits on the troop numbers. The motion put forward by the ruling Justice and Development AK body passed with 298 votes in favor and 98 against. The rising influence of radical groups in Syria threatens Turkey's national security. The aim of this mandate is to minimize as much as possible the impact of the clashes on our borders, Ismet Yilmaz, Turkish defense minister, told parliament. Turkey shares 900-kilometer border with Syria and has seen the conflict frequently spill across its frontier and has responded in kind when mortars and shell fire from Syria have hit its soil, in some cases killing Turkish civilians. Yilmaz said that Turkey could not close its eyes to the atrocities committed by ISIL, including beheadings and massacres. The only target of this text is a terrorist organization that wants to disturb the peace of Iraq and Syria. The expansionist and pan-Islamist policy of Prime Minister Ahmed Davutoglu can only lead Turkey into war, Muhammad Akif Hamzachi, a senior MP of the main opposition Republican People's Party, told the session. The opposition Nationalist Movement Party MHP also voted in favor of the motion, while the CHP and pro-Kurdish People's Democratic Party HDP voted against.
Hong Kong leader says he will not step down. Chief Executive Luang offers to start negotiations with pro-democracy demonstrators who remain on the streets.
Mass protesters in Hong Kong appear to have lost steam after the leader of the Chinese territory refused to step down instead of offering dialogue. Students protesters had threatened to surround or occupy government buildings if Chief Executive Luan Chunying did not step down by midnight on Thursday, and police had warned of serious consequences for the protesters. Just minutes before the deadline, Luang held a news conference to offer the talks but said I will not resign. Although most of the night demonstrators had gone home, by Friday morning around 100 remained outside the government complex, which is now the focal point of protesters that have brought parts of the city to a standstill for 5 days. The demonstrators are calling on Beijing to guarantee full democracy to the former British colony instead of vetting candidates who want to stand for the chief executive's job in 2017 elections. Reports from the protest areas Rain Drizzlet said there was no indication of when the first dialogue meeting would happen, and that had taken the wind out of the sails of the protest. The spirit is quite dimmed, not just because of the rain. Protesters camped out outside Luani's office were quite despondent and jaded, and doubted that anything was going to change anytime soon. Standing beside Luan in the midnight briefing was the territory's top civil servant, Chief Secretary Carrie Lam, and he asked her to arrange the talks. She said she would seek to meet with leaders of the demonstrations as soon as possible. I hope both sides will be satisfied, she said. Students had wanted a public meeting, but I hope that we can have some flexibility to discuss details. The Hong Kong Federation of Students said in a statement early on Friday that they plan to join the talks with the government, focused specifically on political reforms. They reiterated that Luan stepped down, saying he had lost his integrity. A wider broad democracy group that had joined the demonstrations Occupy Central welcomed the talks and also insisted that Luan quit. The government said that the central government offices would be closed on Friday after some civil servants and other workers arriving for their shifts following a 2-day holiday were unable to get past the barricades. Relations between protesters and police have deteriorated since tear gas was fired to disperse crowd last Sunday, and boxes carrying rubber pellets were seen being carried by officers on Thursday. In an editorial on Friday, the People's Daily, the Communist Party mouthpiece repeated Beijing's stance of not offering concessions, upholding the decision of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress is the necessary decision, and the only decision, it said, adding that protesters are against legal principles and doomed to fail.
That's the end of our English news desk on Somaliland National Television. Until we meet for the next time, Eid Mubarak.